Welcome to Stat 200 for the summer 2018. I will be your instructor, Brian James. I have been employed at the Pennsylvania College of Technology for 27 years as a math and physics instructor, and I have recently started to teach one Stat 200 section each semester for Penn State. This will be my fifth or sixth class, I believe. Overall, this class is incredibly successful and very, very well designed by the instructional designers and the Stat 200 directors. So a lot of what we see here is to make this accessible and uniform to all Stat 200 students, which there are so many, well over 500 a semester, sometimes approaching 800 students, I believe. So being fair to everyone and getting the same presentation is pretty important. So again, this is instructionally designed to best benefit each and every student. A little bit about myself. I am married, 3 kids, older kids now, 16, 19, and 24. I really enjoy teaching, and I enjoy golf and basketball. I referee some basketball on the side, and I am very accessible as far as this course goes. So if you need me via discussion board or email, I will respond to you quite quickly. All right, I just want to give you an overview of the course structure and some of my thoughts, and then we'll go from there. So here's the home page. On the home page, we see my introduction, and then down at the bottom, we will keep this Penn State tutoring schedule up the whole semester. This is a great opportunity that Penn State provides for you as a World Campus student for live sessions with TAs to interact, ask questions, etc. So that will continually be updated. You want to look at that throughout the semester down at the bottom of the home page. Course announcements. I will have these posted such that they will show up at the top of the home page right up here each time that you log in. And I think it'll show the most current 3. So make sure you have announcements set up to be pushed to your iPhone. I think most people will do that to their smartphones. You can do that through Canvas notifications. I think most people see that as a very beneficial tool from Canvas. The course syllabus is here. I would read through that. Again, it's basically departmental with a few adjustments based on instructor preferences. But that is a paper copy that you want to look at. Over here to the right, though, you can quickly see the weightings of the course grades. And I'll talk a little bit about those in the future in this video, but we do have multiple ways to assess you. It is a summer course that only has 12 weeks, so we do cut down on the number of exams. But quizzes are worth 15%. You get 2 tries on each one of those, and the highest is counted. Wiley Plus is the homework, and that can be done to mastery. So that's about 100 for almost all students who put in the effort. The lab assignments are where you show us that you can use the technology, Minitab Express, to apply what you've learned in the course. Those are 20%. Those are graded by a teaching assistant, and you get plenty of feedback on those. So those are very valuable for some, quote, real data analysis where we're looking at real data sets. And then we have one midterm and one final exam, both 25% each, both live proctored by Penn State's Examity contract. So Examity is a provider of online proctoring, and it works great. Penn State's into, I think, their 2nd year of using it, and it is a great service to allow for accountability and integrity in these online courses. The weekly course schedule is here, and clicking on that will give you an overview of what we're doing weekly and the due dates that are associated with those. Just about everything in this course is due each week at midnight on Tuesday. All right. And we'll, again, talk a little bit more about that here in a bit. Course modules is where basically the heart and soul of the course exists. And you want to get here probably just about every day, if not every day, every other day. But here's the Wiley Plus. There is a little bit of work on the front end by you to get this course up and running. Wiley Plus is the provider of the electronic homework and the access to the e-textbook. And the e-textbooks have come a long way. I am still someone who really likes a hard copy, probably because I'm older, but the e-textbook is a great addition. You can highlight, you can save passages right out of that, you can make study cards, flashcards, and Penn State has provided you with all the support to see this here, to get that started. Okay, and that is mandated that you must have Wiley Plus access. The Examity module is the overview of Examity, the proctoring service again. You do need to have that as your proctored exams are required to have access to Examity. Again, you can look through each one of these to help you get that started. Again, we're into our second year, and I've had very little problems with students as far as understanding and really appreciating the value of the accountability in an online course. So, and we'll give you a practice chance with this service where it doesn't cost you anything as far as points go, to see how the environment works. All right, and then it goes, each week we have a lesson that is dictated by the course schedule. The first week we have lesson 0 and lesson 1. And these, a lot of this is legwork again, just getting you started, familiar with the course, not a terrible amount of content. But what I would like to point out, the instructional design has each week a lesson to-do list. Very important to just follow this. So if you open that, it takes you right down through what you need to do each week. That way you do not in any way get off schedule. All right, you'll know exactly what you need to do, which is a big key for students becoming initiated with an online environment. And again, lesson 0 is orientation. It talks about some of the background algebra that you might need, etc. Anything that says required, clearly make sure you're doing, because there are points available to you for those. Okay. And then lesson 1 actually starts the content. And again, a to-do list. That to-do list takes you through each thing that we should do. Now this again is a little longer than it will normally be once we get started. A lot of this is just preliminary action for the course. One of these things that stick out is the introduction discussion board. You need to post there a little bit about yourself so that we all get a sense of a little bit of sense of community, even in an online environment, that we are all part of this together. So if you look down through there, that will give you the basic, understanding of what you should do for the week at hand. Now, in the actual module, let me talk to you a little bit about this. So most weeks what you will see is you'll see a discussion board. That's where you should ask questions and we should interact. It'd be great if students can answer some of the other students' questions. That reinforces and helps learning, gives a different viewpoint than myself, but I will weigh in as well. And then what we have is we have each week the readings. And what we have is online notes. Penn State has done a wonderful job with these. You can learn from these. They are pretty concise. They have video examples intertwined. So that's a great resource, again, when you start thinking about doing the labs and how to use the technology involved in the course. This video lecture is relatively new to the Stat 200. It is actually Dr. Zimmerman's, who is the director of Stat 200. It's her actual classroom lecture each week. So if you're a person who learns better from that type of thing, that would be about a 50-minute lecture, just like you were in a classroom on this content. If you can pair that with the online notes, you will be in great shape. I still think there's been many successful students just using these online notes and how well they're done. But boy, if you put that together, it's great. And then here's the section of our e-textbook that is pertinent for the week that we're involved in. So that links you right out to the lock book. And that's kind of, if you will, the icing on the cake for a little more depth, okay, to accessorize the online notes and video lecture if you use those. A lot of weeks we'll have some worked examples. So a lab that will show you, or a video that will show you some of the by hand work, if you will, or the integration of technology into some of the problem solving. The assignment each week, then you'll have the homework assignment, which will link you out to Wiley Plus, and you can always do the practice if you want. The practice is optional, as it says. It doesn't give you any points. It just gives you more practice. The homework is the part where you can do the mastery, very important for your learning, and frankly, get you 15% of your grade that is almost guaranteed to be 100 if you give it the time. Okay. Each week we have a quiz. Those quizzes are timed, 30 minutes. They are unproctored, and you can take them twice. The higher of the two grades counts. So that would be, again, a beneficial thing to spread that out a little bit. Take the quiz, see what you get. If you have any deficiencies, remediate, and then come back and take it. Students who just get in, take real quick, and then log right back into the next one, either because of poor planning or life circumstances, don't typically do as well. So you want to give yourself a little time there. And then the lab assignment, which is done with Minitab Express and submitted to a Dropbox, which is 20% of your grade. All right, so my thoughts on how you handle a typical week. I think you get started on Wednesday each week. This first time you'll have more time because we're starting on a Monday and not submitting until the following Tuesday, but usually Wednesday to Tuesday. And I think the students who do the best in any online environment are the ones who spread it out. If you can give yourself some time rather than waiting close to the deadline. So my advice would be Wednesday, Thursday, even into Friday. Read the online notes, watch the video lecture if that's the way you learn. Just get familiar with the content, but certainly the online notes and those embedded videos are very important. And then I think you do the homework while you're doing that. Okay, so now we're Friday, Saturday. And then somewhere in there we start to move over to the lab work. It is, I think, very important that you try the lab work before you do the quiz. The labs will force you to think about things in a different way or another look at the technology so that when you see this technology output in the quizzes, you'll understand what is going on. So my thought again is online notes, reading, video lecture, moving into then the homework, and then to the quiz or to the lab, and then ultimately the quiz before Tuesday nights at midnight. And then this just goes for each week of the semester in order. And when we get to the midterm, you'll see that midterm show up, and then of course the final exam at the end. Okay, so very well structured. The e-textbook is just that. That's a link out to that e-textbook that you'll set up through Wiley Plus. Discussion boards, there's one each week. They are optional, but they can be of great value, especially in a distance ed course. Once in a while, there'll be one required. Like, for example, you get points for introducing yourself thoroughly. This one here, you cannot move into Lab 2 until you post this discussion. So there are certain ones embedded for the good of the student to get that done. The examining module is here, which also we have in our course as an actual module. The gradebook is like any other online gradebook, well done, and you can continually see your grades as you go. The late policy in the course, which you'll read in the syllabus, and again I encourage you to read the syllabus thoroughly, but the late policy, just try not to use it. It deducts points. So if the homework is after the due date, every question after is only given 50% credit. The lab assignments are due Tuesday night at midnight like everything else, and for each day they're late you lose 20 points. There's a standard deduction of 20 points. And then quizzes and tests, midterm and final, do not get any opportunity at being late. Okay, but giving up those late points is something that you really don't want to have to do, I don't believe. Okay. All right, so that's my thought. I can't stress to you enough that this is very, very well done by Penn State. Lots of thought goes into this. Meets the needs of hundreds and hundreds of students online each semester, and I'm here to support you. So if you have any statistical questions, that's what I'm here to do, and that is to help you with content. If I can help you with technology, I will. World Campus also offers some support there, but I definitely will help you through the statistical part of it. So don't be afraid to ask on discussion boards. I usually get back to you quite quickly. All right, I wish you all the best of luck and have a great semester.